You know, I've never been really into art myself. Maybe I'm not dexterous enough to make a piece of art, or maybe it's just the fact that I lack the patience to create a piece of art. But I must say that I'm really interested in the lives of the artists who created some of the most famous pieces of art in history. Today, I want to talk about one of those interesting stories. Yayoi Kusama is a Japanese artist born in 1929 in Matsumoto. Being the fourth daughter of a wealthy family, she became interested in arts at a young age. Her first work had been done by the age of 10. Kusama has had a long career over her years and has dabbled into more than just painting, working in several sculptures, collage, performances, and happenings, as well as different art styles such as Nihonga, which is traditional Japanese painting, Expressionism, and pop art, being considered a precursor of this style, along Andy Warhol and Claes Oldenburg. Her works always include a twist of feminism, minimalism, and polka dot printings, which are her personal trademark. I chose this artist firstly because Japanese culture is among my personal interests, and I recall seeing her name before, but after reading her story, I became fascinated with how her life experiences had an impact on her art style, as happened with many artists, how her childhood, choices, abusive mother, and her life in a mental hospital, and tons of other elements have been embodied into her works in a way that expresses the kind of thought that she wants to share with the world. As I mentioned before, her works encompasses many different and notably varied styles and types. She first started studying and practicing traditional Japanese painting, but soon became bored of this style, becoming instead wildly fascinated by the American movement avant-garde, which impulsed her to put up her own exhibitions in Japan, and years after that, in 1957, to move to New York, where she coexisted with many renowned artists of that age, as I mentioned before. She was asked about why polka dots were her trademark. She explained that this pattern shared the shape of everything, according to her. Polka dots are similar in shape to the sun, the moon, the earth, the eyes, everything. And everything is interconnected to the universe and at the same time to nothingness, making it, according to her, the ultimate form. This conclusion was reached after she experienced some hallucinations as a child. Another element present in her art is feminism, which is ironically symbolized by phallic sculptures. This is explained because of the abuses that her mother performed over her due to the constant infidelities of her father, and how she was forced by her mother to spy on him. Among the most recognizable works in her career, I'll make special emphasis on two of those. The first one I want to highlight is the Narcissus Garden, which she displayed during the 33rd edition of the Venice Biennale. The happening consisted in 1,500 plastic silver mirror balls, which were sold by her to passerbys at $2 each, while she wore a golden kimono. The concept of the work was a critique to the art market and the artists that made them overly accommodated over the years, although this ultimately got her banned from Venice for 27 years until the 60th edition of the Biennale. Even so, after that event, she recreated successfully the garden in many occasions. The second work that I would like to highlight is a most recent one that has been presented around the world. This is the Infinite Mirrors, a combination of many, if not all the elements that are constant on her art, going from polka dots, infinity nets, collage, phallic sculptures, all of them combined within an illuminated mirror maze with a magical feel to it. The final question to answer if her work should be considered art or not. To answer this, we need to look again at her career. We can appreciate that while many of her jobs cannot be sold, like body painting and happenings, she has had many famous paintings among the previously mentioned art styles, pop art, expressionism, minimalism, and as well as her sculptures like the Infinity Net collage or the phallic sculptures. Even though some could see that their sculptures are just a bunch of objects one over the other, the second one requires a lot of time and concentration and has beautiful results as shown by her Infinity Nets. To me, the happenings or the body painting aren't really artistic at all. I mean, I don't see the intricate meaning that lies beneath them. But by looking at her paintings and sculpture, I can see why they are fascinating to the eyes of the spectator. And in my opinion, that's what makes art really matter.